patrons, and welcome to this month's poll movie, Soylent Green.
Soylent Green is people! You have to.
You have to. The line Soylent Green is people is in the lexicon of pop culture, and so when I put this on the poll, I was really kind of secretly hoping that they had picked it. I know of the movie. I've never seen the movie. That's kind of the point of these Patreon poll movies and the $5 level movies and stuff like that. So this month was Soylent Green. Charlton Heston being full Charlton Heston in this movie.
Right. And we didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure he did this one after Planet of the Apes.
Keep talking. I
think
have it
Planet of
open.
the Apes was 70, 71.
This is the Patreons. We can be a little less formal.
That's true. We can. What are you going to do?
What? Keep talking amongst your Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Let's go down here. 73. Okay, let's see. We have Beyond the Planet of the Apes is 70. So that's like the fourth in the series.
No, I think that's
Planet of the Apes is 1968.
Second. Yeah, Beyond is second.
Beyond is second. Omega Man. So we were in that Julius Caesar, Omega Man, Skyjacked, Soylent Green, Three Musketeers time period.
Adventures of Dr. Mowgli.
So
Yeah. So a couple years after Planet of the Apes, with the other iconic catchphrase from Charlton Heston, "Damn dirty apes." So yeah, that makes sense. He's a little bit older, still trying to. It's so 70s. Still trying to do the Charlton Heston swagger. Gonna sleep with the chick who says she's 21. And he was probably pushing 50.
50 at that point in time. Yeah.
And yeah, lots of boobs. They could not. I mean, this movie. I know why they don't show it on TV because it's very wouldn't work in this time period.
This is a hard R in today's world. And I
don't know if I would say a hard R. There's no naked.
No,
I mean
okay.
there is naked, but it's from the back.
Yeah,
and I think you
this
see.
This is one of those
Heston's
ones that I think on like Turner Classic Movies would work, but it'd have to be like after 10 o'clock kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's just pretty. All the girls' shirts kind of barely cover the nipples.
Low cuts or side boob or whatever. That's not what we meant to be talking about. This was, for me, we've talked about like these movies that we're doing for our patrons and talking about how some of them get my attention and some of them don't. We did the Magnificent Seven last month. Or a month and a half ago, depending on how you look at it. And that
5
one
years ago.
I really liked. I really liked that one. This one, we got about halfway through, and I turned to her and I said, I'm really struggling with this one. And it's not that it's a bad movie. At this point in time, for me, it's all the movie sci-fi, noir, detective tropes all live in this movie.
Yeah.
And if the acting or the special effects or the aesthetic or anything doesn't grab my attention, I tend to wander. And that's not anybody's fault other than my own for not watching this movie sooner. But I just it fell really flat for me. And I don't know if that's because there's lack of big orchestra music. I mean, there's music in it, but like grabbing your attention and building tension and stuff.
I mean, it's a film of its time. I mean,
it's totally
referencing Planet of the Apes. I mean, if you go back, have you watched the Charlton Heston?
I have seen the Charlton Heston a couple of times. Not recently, no.
If you go back and watch it, it's like, wow, this movie is boring. It's really not.
I think that's what this one got me on.
Yeah,
it felt boring.
It's just a movie of the time. There just really wasn't. They were more into the drama of it and the story of it. I mean, it's very odd. Like, I guess you classify it as a sci-fi, a futuristic sci-fi, but it's also a detective drama and, a statement on the times,
global warming and pollution and overpopulation.
Yeah.
I mean, all those conversations were being had in 1973 when this came out. And so it's very like...
It's a lot of stuff crammed into a movie that's...
A detective movie.
Into a detective movie.
Yeah.
And we were joking about how it's funny how in the 70s they thought the future was the 70s.
The 70s,
because
totally.
the only thing we caught now, if you haven't, spoilers for an almost 50-year-old movie, or over 50-year-old movie, whatever, almost 50-year-old movie. It's like a dystopian world kind of on the outside, but then a lot of the movie deals with him dealing with rich people who have everything. They've got AC and running water and food in the refrigerator. So, on the outside, it's very like ghetto New York,
right?
In the outside world, and then the rich people's houses are what the 70s looked like.
Right.
The only thing different that we saw was that you could wave your hand in front of this little panel to make doors open. Oh, and the phone. There's a phone. It's like a direct line to the police, like dispatch.
Yeah.
And it's just a handset. He takes it off. There's no cord. So it's a cell phone, kind of. Cordless phone.
Yeah.
And then he runs up the stairs with it, so it's got a little bit of distance. And then he drops it, and it makes the sound that a regular phone would have made.
The bell, the ring.
The ringer, and you're like, but that's the hands. Okay, sure.
Just go with it. There were multiple times where I'm like, wow, this is a full 70s futuristic drama, because the clothes were all 70s and
shag everything.
I was gonna say
everything.
The decor were like, those egg chair kind of things. This is the future, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna give it some passes because it is a movie of its time, and not being directly connected to that time period of movies makes me struggle with this kind of stuff. Now, I'm not saying that Charlton Heston isn't good in it. Charlton Heston's really good in it.
Yeah.
And he's the one reason that keeps my attention throughout it. Even when he's being full Charlton Heston cheesy, he's still engaging.
Yeah.
And at this point in time in his career, at least with this stretch of movies, he was just showing up, acting, and going on to the next thing. He wasn't really... Soylent Green is only really a pop culture phenomenon because of what Soylent Green is.
Right.
And it wasn't necessarily that the movie itself was a big blockbuster movie of the time. It was a regular movie that came out. Because you went and saw it because Charlton Heston was in it. Okay, Soylent Green is people. You kind of make that joke when you went to work the next day. And then that was it. It wasn't in the lexicon until later on, when the next generation of movie people started taking that line and making it a big deal. And I just feel like that gives this movie a little bit more credibility, earned or otherwise. I think it just gives it more credibility than what it really deserves.
Maybe. I think a lot of the credibility, I'm not sure that's the word for it, but the reason why the movie and the term carry on is because of the political and natural statement that it was making at that point in
socioeconomic,
time.
And that was really when they were starting to do like pollution control in the early 70s, and they were also doing they were really starting to worry about overpopulation, because the movie starts by saying there's 40 million people living in New York. I couldn't imagine living in New York with 40 million people. I'm sure there's 40 million people there now, but
I don't know. I think it's 20 million people that live in New York City.
And not the outlying area.
Right, not the state of New York. I think it's 20. I remember hearing that at some point. But yeah, I mean, that's why. And I was a child when this movie came out. I did not see it in the movie theater. But yeah, I would say you're right. Like my mom's generation, it was a movie. It had Charlton Heston in it. It had some kind of political statement it was trying to make, but it had Charlton Heston in it. And then there was the shocker at the end that, oh my God, they're eating people. And it was like my generation, we watched it on whatever Saturday morning TV or movies or whatever, where we were like, oh my God, Soylent Green is people. And then it just became a, kind of the government is fooling you kind of statement, Soylent Green is people. So
if you want a better version of this movie, go watch Chris Evans and Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
Snowpiercer is this movie, just updated.
Yep. On a train.
And on a train. I was going to say a smaller set, but on a train. It's a much better version, talking about the same issues, and instead of people, it's bugs. So, but that would be if you were going to ask me between the two, I'd tell you to watch Snowpiercer instead. So that is this month's Patreon poll movie. We're gonna we started a new thing this week. We are doing 60-second reviews. 60-second reviews. And the plan is
go watch it.
Watch it. Is only available for patrons.
It's pretty funny.
The plan is to do one of those every week, and then to add the movies in as we. Excuse me, I've been drinking all afternoon. And to add those, the movie reviews in and try to be better about it. We also ask that you share our YouTube channel and our Patreon page with your friends. Ask them to come join. It's $1 a month. It's not that hard, but we're working on getting new equipment. If you've noticed that our sound is not as good, it's because we've just had a complete breakdown of microphones.
The headphones have died, so we're moving on to the Blues, and we'll work on some other stuff. But our $5 patrons got some swag. They got some shirts and some buttons and stuff this month. So if you are not a $5 patron, you might want to consider that so you can get swag in the future.
Yep. And we will be rotating through into the new run. Every 6 months, the $5 patrons can tell us a movie. That new run will start in July. So
if you bump up to the $5, you too can.
You will jump to the head of the line,
and you can tell us to watch.
Not the Road or Delicatessen.
We've already watched that one. We don't have to watch it again.
We don't have to watch. Thank God.
Sorry, David.
I'm not even sorry. I've already told you how I felt about that one. What the hell did I just watch? And we're gonna do the highest fortress, Kurosawa. And we've been waiting to do that one where we have some time to actually pay attention because Japanese.
And reading.
So that's what's going on with us. This is our review for Soylent Green and what's going on with the Patreon. Again, please help us by sharing our YouTube channel and the Patreon and asking your friends to join. So that's what we have for this month. Until next time, patrons, we really appreciate all of your help, and we'll keep pushing along. Good night now.